Like a lot of crazy things. You know, walking down the street, this lady stops in front of you, pulls up her skirt, and just poops on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Shanghai. Got me again, Shanghai. Got me again, Shanghai. Thank you, Shanghai. A lot of different stuff. Just hold the baby while you're just shitting right in the trash can. Just hold them up right there. There we go. Just checking for a wind, hanging the kid off. I think it's gonna get. That's like a 4-turn wind.
So this is kind of a weird segue, but we always talk about things on the podcast about why are we here? What is life? Jimmy, do you ever think about that?
Man, I think everybody's got to figure that out for themselves. I think that's your deal, man. You got to figure out what it is that feeds your soul. I think you got to figure out what brings you joy in life. I think life is too short, for hatred or jealousy or animosity. I mean, we're all just kind of connected on this planet. It's one giant human ecosphere. I think but there is real evil out there that people will just I think you just gotta. I think whatever you put out into the universe comes back to you tenfold. So if you want to find a best friend, be a best friend to somebody. If you want to be loved, then love people. I think that's the only thing I'm pretty sure of. That's the only thing I know for sure. I think is that wheel of karma keeps spinning. That steel belted radial of karma keeps rolling around. So I think if you have a chance to be kind to people, be kind. Life's too short to hate your relatives or fight with people. It's just stupid. And just try to find your passion. I think that's it.
That was the best, I think, advice I've gotten. My father, we did one with him, and he just started talking about Fukushima, telling me how the 60-year-olds they got it the best. I really appreciate it.
Like my dad used to say. He used to say, well, he wasn't much of a talker. The thing is, no.
Guys, Michael Andreula here with Jimmy Shubert, the fantastic, the legendary. And this was a real issue. You have so many things on the bio. What do you put ahead of Last Comic Standing, the TV experiences?
Well, Last Comic Standing is just the current thing you're doing. The David Tell's Comedy Underground, that was a blast. And doing these sets in prime time for me on NBC was really I haven't done a lot of late night television. I'm more of a club act. I would say I'm a little raw or edgy. I don't say I'm offensive, but I'm a little raw or edgy. And I just have to how you figure out how to present those sets in the best way. Get past the standards and practices at NBC. And that was the challenge for me, was to be able to come up and keep doing clean set after clean set after clean set. So that was kind of a fun thing to.
I actually wanted to get into that. How in the world do you change some of that from dirty, that's fantastic, into a clean?
Well, look, I mean, any bit you do, if it's funny, it's funny. The funny is there. Language doesn't make it funnier. It may accentuate it, but if it's funny, it's funny, and whatever the subject is. But I mean, you'd be amazed at what you can and cannot say on television. So you go, oh, you can say that, but you can't say that. You can say sausage, you can say wallet. Why can't you say sausage wallet? It's.
Well, one of the most. There's so many things. We've been watching Jimmy Shubert stuff continuously, listening to the podcast. If you guys haven't seen or listened to the Jimmy Shubert podcast, I think you have 26 episodes now.
Yeah, we're up back. So we're up about 40. We got a 41 in the can. But what's going on right now is, as I do Last Comic Standing, I invited a bunch of my friends who were Last Comic Standing alumni from years past, and I wanted to talk to them what their experience was like and what that was like. And they were like, Chris Porter, who finished third.
Yeah,
I mean, they all had nothing but great things to say about it. I thought it would great. If you don't like my stand-up, I think the podcast is another way to kind of get to know me a little bit better, and then also to promote friends of mine who've got various projects going out. But we got every step of the way. We have a semifinalist. I mean, next Thursday, Ada Rodriguez is going to be on. Yeah, so Ada Rodriguez is going to be on like the Thursday after the kind of blowout thing, and it's like look. I mean, Last Comic Standing, it's you work with these people, you know these people, you know them for some of them for 20 years, and you make some new friends, and you're all going to work together again. So it's really tough to kind of put the comedian's process on display without kind of creating a little bit of drama, because at some point, everybody has a little bit of an ego.
My favorite podcast, when your pops was on it.
Oh yeah.
So he was a detective.
Yeah, my dad's a detective in Philly, and he's still a delegate with the FOP. He still dabbles. Like my old man's like an old gumshoe. He's like Lieutenant Columbo. I hate to bother you, let me ask you, but he's always on some kind of case. He's always gathering some kind of information. I swear to God, it's like living with Lieutenant Columbo.
His voice, his cadence is super, super good, especially on audio. I don't know what he looks like, but he was just making me laugh.
Yeah, no, he's a character. My old man is a character. He's a cop for 30 years, old detective. Back before they had DNA databases and CSIs.
So
back when you had to do real police work. So he's. But he has 6 kids. I love my old man.
How do you line up in that order?
I'm right in the middle. I'm the one who didn't get any attention at all. This is what drove me to the stage. What's up, GoPro?
We just have as many cameras on Jimmy as possible. I mean, there's security cameras here. The NSA is watching. It's pretty impressive. One of the main reasons I hunted you down was the video that you did. You were doing your set, and the fire alarm goes off.
Yeah,
Okay.
I was in Cleveland at a club called Hilarities. That club is one of the premier comedy clubs in the country. It is a $12 million facility. I mean, you walk in, it's this beautiful 4-star restaurant. They got a 3-piece jazz band playing. You go around, there's all this kind of like open kitchen area and wood fire grills. And you go down these steps into the comedy club. It's all luge seating, raised seating with leathers. Everybody's in tuxedos. They're seating you. It's the old original wall from the Cleveland Opera. So it's really like, and then when you go out, there's a cabaret room where they do shows. I mean, this facility is unbelievable. So I'm doing a show there one night, and about 10 minutes into my set, the alarm starts going off, and I'm just trying to figure out what's going on. And apparently someone knocked one of the sprinkle heads off the ceiling. They were loaded with chairs, hit the sprinkle head, 44 gallons of water start gushing out per minute. It automatically sends off the alarm. It automatically calls the fire department. And they're doing construction on that street, so they can't find the shutoff valve. So they're wheeling these cans in. The whole audience is standing on the other side of the street. And the owner, Nick, goes, "Hey, would you mind continuing your show on the sidewalk?" And I said, "Yeah, Nick, let's do it for the story." But I forgot that the guy was recording. I was trying to get a tape that night.
Yeah.
And that dude just grabbed, the kid's name's Kevin Jackson, and he grabbed and he shot all this other stuff, and then he shot me out in the street. And I thought, like, wow, I totally forgot about that until he sent it to me. I said, "That's great." I put it on my DVD.
That was one of the more gangster things I've seen. I would have said, "Listen, this is a rap."
No, it's just a pro thing, man. I mean, look, you're just in a bad situation. Try to make the best of a bad situation. It's not their fault. It's not my fault. It's not the club's fault. This kid was not going to.
You have this ethic in your work that the show's going to be finished.
Yeah, well, plus, I just to do it and have fun, go with the flow, and see what happens. I thought it was actually, it's become kind of I've had people come to my shows and go, "The reason we came and saw you tonight was because we watched you do that thing."
If you do that, the commitment level,
they go, "Here's a guy who's going to give us a show no matter what." Yeah. That's what message that says. Here's a guy. I mean, I open a refrigerator door, the light comes on, I do 15 minutes. That's the kind of entertainer I am. You know what I mean? How we doing, camera crew? All right? That's great.
And I was mentioning Death Squad earlier. Basically, they're big supporters of you beyond what you realize.
Well, all those guys. I mean, Joey Coco Diaz.
Oh, they were just him and Dom Irera were just giving you shout-outs yesterday, and Ari and Joe Rogan were talking about you today.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that's awesome. I love all those guys. They're good guys. They work hard. I mean, nobody works harder than Joe Rogan.
Yeah.
And Dom Irera. I love Dom Irera's like an old Philly guy. Joey Coco Diaz. I mean, I you come up with these guys,
Yeah.
So I like that. It's like I start with Mark Maron. I mean, I'm always happy to see a guy like Maron who's kind of hung in there, and now he's found new success with this. I mean, not new success, but I mean his show on IFC. He's got his podcast. I'm super happy for a guy like Mark. But it's funny when a guy's put in his dues and paid his chops. They come up and they kind of support you a little bit, and that's all good because they're all doing very well. Ari's doing very well. In fact, I just got Ari into China. He was over in China.
Yeah,
Ari Shubert was just in China.
Oh man, we emailed right before he left, and he's done some he did The Amazing Racist, which is a series about Chinese people not being able to drive, and I just thought it was funny that he was going to bring himself.
Yeah, well, that was like a tongue-in-cheek. It was a tongue-in-cheek thing, obviously, you know. But Ari's just funny, man. I love that show he had on Comedy Central, the storytelling show. I mean, you know, these guys. It's weird because when I started doing comedy and there wasn't all the social media stuff, and you were driving and doing a lot of road gigs. But now the social media thing's really kind of made it easy for you to connect with your audience directly, you know. But yeah, man, I'm
Do you like that?
Yeah, I do. You know, you get your internet trolls out there.
Well, yeah. Well, but say you have like the Kinnison era, you have the. I guess we had a drop off in the '90s. Now it's really booming.
Hey, believe me, I'm glad they didn't have camera phones back in the Kinnison era.
Oh, that would have been.
Believe me, we'd all been locked up. No, but yeah, I'm just happy to make it through it. I'm kind of having a little renaissance period in my career. Not that I ever went away. I've always done some acting work and stuff, but stand-up comedy is kind of peaking right now. I mean, comedy concerts are peaking. It's coming back. And like people's careers, they have ups and downs. Comedy has ups and downs. I think right now you're witnessing a peak. They brought the Last Comic Standing back after 3 years. Wanda Sykes did, and Paige Hurts, and they did such a great job. One of the things I loved about it was, because I was a little skeptical at first,
of course,
but it was just an invitational. They were just going to invite working professional comedians, which I thought was here you go. This is kind of like, look, because you can't pretend like some Tom, Dick, and Harry's going to walk in off the street and compete with me. I mean, if you want to put the comedian's process on display, then get working comedians, working professional comedians. So that's what they did. I love that they brought the judges in. I love Keenan Ivory Wayans. I love Roseanne. I think I'm exactly Roseanne's kind of comic. My style of comedy. And Russell Peters, I got nothing but mad love for Russell Peters. I do. I just think he's just one of the nicest guys, a super incredible human being. He takes care of a lot of comedians as well. And Wanda, and it was just this whole thing. Last Comic was a great experience. I have no negativity to say about it at all. And then it just worked out timing wise that Last Comic Standing premiered, and then 2 nights later, David Tell's Comedy Underground came out, and David Tell really did all the editing for that show. He really took charge of it. I think that's one of my favorite shows. I watched, I got to watch a couple episodes. I just love the way he presents comedians. You do it in a club, and it's edited real well, and it's great. And I just, it's big, man. Things just came to lining up, so.
And this is the thing about being a comic is, when do you say I made it, or it's just going to be, it keeps going? You have to.
Look, if you're a lifer like myself, it keeps going. I mean, you're always looking for an upper hand. You're always looking for a way to keep yourself relevant. I mean, I had like 4 years there where things weren't that great. I had no agent, I had no manager. I was struggling to get auditions, and then things come up. You keep working hard, you keep working smart.
How did you stay on that? How did you stay?
Well, because by doing it all, by figuring out how to do social media, by figuring out how to do your own website, by figuring out how to keep things current, by always rocking, writing. I mean, I'm always writing. I got stacks and stacks of stuff that I haven't even tried out yet. But I mean, I'm really kind of I like to fire up the word welder. And the cool thing about Last Comic was putting those. I mean, when you got 4 minutes and 30 seconds, you have to be so precise with your words. The economy of words, and you go, I only got 4, and they're going to edit that down to like 2 minutes. So you gotta stay on it.
Can you touch that editing, or they do all the editing? They ever chop up that bit the way you?
No, they have the. But I gotta be honest. In all fairness, I thought most people you would worry about that, but I thought the guys at NBC and Last Comic did a great job with the editing. And I thought David Tell did the editing on his show.
He's famous for doing that on most of his shows.
Because I got to tell you, he did a great job. I mean, to go in and host that many shows with all your comedian buddies, and then also to go in and then on top of it, it's so funny. I say, like Comedy Central. He goes, no, Comedy Central looks like comedy like Romanian orphanages just look at children. And he goes on the phone with him. He put me over that day. I mean, I'm a huge fan of David Tell. I think that guy just makes me laugh. I'm a big fan, and so when he asked me to be part of it, I was,
All right, so this is a good. David Tell compares comedy to a knife fight. Is that how you look at comedy?
Well, look, here's the thing. Most people, especially nowadays, it's like, you get so many people going online and see videos and stuff. I think your comedy audience is a little more educated now. Yeah. I think, I just think that people respect it, but some people don't. They act like, you're Saga the Dunk Tank Clown. They don't realize it takes you about 12 years to become a really great comedian. Sure. I mean, I always equate it with, going to college and then going to law school. I mean, because you're really getting paid for your professional point of view. you have to be able to do it at a high level. I think it's all about, the way you word stuff. I mean, the originality is in the material, but it's also in the way you deliver the material. You're going to kind of tap into all those things and think about those things the way you want to present yourself.
Are you in the zone? Do you put yourself in a zone on stage where it feels like it's effortless?
No, you know what? I just, I think people that do it good, they make it look easy. And people in the audience think that, anybody could do that. They don't realize that, especially on these last comic standing sets, how, I was so particular about the words I used, about getting it down to a precise. I mean, it was really precision. It was precision wording and design to get the maximum results in the shortest amount of time. Layered, dense with punchlines. And so, and you've been doing, because you have such, Bernard Hopkins he's a boxer. He's about 48 now. He's fantastic. He never takes damage in fights. He can maneuver in a way that... Well, if he's 48 and he's still fighting, that's pretty good. He's pretty good about staying away from punches. Some of those guys don't last. They're like, die, and you're like, I just want $1 million. He's just, and you're hanging out with Jerry Lewis. Hi, lady. Hi. All right, cool.
So he's got so many moves off of other moves. He knows what they're going to do, the audience. So so many different tricks.
Well, here's the thing I care about. When people come out and they spend their hard-earned money to come see my show, I really dig that they came out to support me, but I also want to give them a great show. I want them to have a great time at my show. So when someone kind of heckles me, and you have different levels of hecklers. You got guys that are just shit-faced drunk, and you can't do nothing with that except hit him with a blow dart and sneak him out the back, and they just kind of drag him out of the room because he's not going to make any sense. Some of the sorry, but some of the other, sometimes you get a little repartee and then you kind of bounce off. Or you bounce off an audience member, you go in. So it's just all good. And then you have some people that just want to
rhino parties.
Well, they just want to ruin the show. I mean, they're not having a good time. They don't get it. Obviously, they should be at a strip club. Here they're at a comedy club. And just because they sit there, they all take their IQ with a tire gauge. 28. Yeah. I mean, some of the headier jokes.
Because you get so much macho guys.
Well, listen, but I don't mind it. You don't get it. I mean, you can go up and leave the club if you want, or you can go sit back there and have a drink. What bothers me is that you would feel that you would start ruining somebody else's night. I got another couple over here. They just had a 2-year-old kid. They haven't been out of the house in 2 years. They just found a sitter they can trust. They spent $40, $60. It's their night out, too, and you're fucking up their night. And that's why I get so angry. I mean, that's why I'm so passionate about shutting it down, but also because if you let this guy get away with it, and this guy's going to want to do it, and that guy. So you got to really kind of keep control of the room. But yeah, it's getting tougher and tougher because I think a lot of people are, the dumbing down of America is.
Dumbing down of America?
Well, yeah, man, that lobotomy, that television set, they pump all that rubbish into your, just all. It's just, the news is so negative. MTV. I mean, it's just. Yeah, MTV, the Learning Channel. I mean, the Learning Channel, what am I learning? I'm not to behave? What am I learning? I'm not to act in public? What am I going to do? I mean, but, it's all silly. I mean, I think you really got to kind of fight to, the thing for me is when you write stand-up comedies, I want to work to the top of my intelligence. I want to have the audience work to the top of my intelligence and have my audience find me. I mean, I could go up and do, shit, 20 minutes of fucking booger jokes and shit jokes and everybody screaming, there's no thought required. I prefer to make people laugh and think at the same time. And sometimes in a nightclub when people are drunk and have too many drinks, it's a daunting task.
So you try to get to the truth at the end of a joke.
Be able to make people laugh and think at the same time, whether it's truth or not, or whether you took your artistic license and kind of changed it. The therapy cat bit I do, it's really, this woman just got on an airplane with a cat, and I happened to be fucking allergic, and I just went off, and in my head, I created this whole scenario, and if I can fix this bitch, and, or just deal with the TSA. A lot of it's, comedy's just a funny way of being serious, that's all it is. It's a funny way of being serious.
That's a good point.
Who were your go-to road models or role models?
Love Carlin. I love Pryor too, but I love Carlin just because of his just the amount of writing, and he's just how long he did it. And I love Richard Pryor, but Carlin's I would say my number one. I mean, I like a lot of guys. I mean, I think Doug Stanhope is amazing. I think Bill Burr's amazing. Brian Regan's amazing. I mean, I love watching Dom Irrera. I mean,
do you still watch their sets though? Do
if I can. The thing is it's so funny because a lot of these guys. I mean, you're in a highly competitive business. Come up with kind of unique premises and ideas, especially if you're doing social stuff. And some guys, are also doing that stuff, you know, and you go, oh, well, they beat me too because I'm not going to top that bid. So, I mean, I don't really watch them. I mean, once in a while, like I saw Doug Stanhope's No Refund specials, laughed, was a fan. I mean, I just, you know, I saw Joe Rogan not too long ago at the Improv out there, you know. I mean, anybody makes me laugh, man. I mean, and guys like that are doing it at a high level. You know,
get you on Rogan next time you're in L.A.?
What's that?
You're going to get on Rogan? This will make enough demand, enough noise, but do you ever go out to Rogan's? Is Pasadena too far for you?
No, man. No, I'd love to, man. I know Joe for a while. I mean, they're building a Death Squad thing. I mean, he's an incredibly busy dude, man. He's flying out to do stand-up. He's doing the UFC. I mean, I mean, there's a couple of stories about Rogan killing a mountain lion. And, you know, Joe's such a badass. That almost for a split second, you go, no, he didn't kill him out, but it's kind of funny. He's had a couple of these stories, like where he's going in the ring and stuff. Yeah.
Were you there when? Well, this isn't. I mean, you know the Comedy Store in and out, correct?
Yeah, man. That's where I went to college. I would say that's my college.
Do you still go over there?
Yeah, I go over there all the time. I do I go kill Tony's podcast. You know, when I was getting ready for Last Comic, they would let me run in there, and I would do a set up at Kill Tony. I go down to the main room, do a set. I'd run over to the original room, do a set. So you just run in this 8-minute set, you know. I would get as many sets as I could get in because you
gotta get reps.
Yeah, well, you gotta get your reps. Exactly. That's basically exactly right. You gotta get your reps. So you're just sitting there saying this stuff in front of people, and that's what you got to try to do. It's try to get the wording out. Like once you write something, you go, this reads funny. I just got to figure out how to perform it funny.
What's your favorite rooms?
Man, I like Flappers out there in Los Angeles. That's where I tape my online stuff at Flappers. I like the Improv, even though they can be a little snooty, those crowds sometimes. But the Comedy Store's my home. But I like anywhere where it's a smart audience to get your jokes. You know, they're intelligent. You know. Sorry. If you're hearing any pickup noise on this, it's because you know we're cleaning.
This is real, though. This is the real.
This is it. This is the club. We're in a dress rehearsal right now.
And you got to keep in mind,
Jimmy. What's up, fellas?
That's how you do it. And you had no worries that you're going to be. I'm talking to you, messing your brain up before you have to do a set. That doesn't even factor.
No, dude. What I do on stage is the fun part. And the work is all the other stuff. The work is being here with you, and then doing. You know, the work is like doing radio in the morning. I mean, that's all the stuff that's work.
Yeah, they push you
have to do that. I didn't mean that. I didn't mean being with you.
Absolutely.
I meant that you got to, do all interviews and all the media you can on top of them. Right now, it's especially now. I mean, manning your social media, doing all your stuff. You got to stay on top of it. So, these opportunities come along every once in a while, and I think you got to take full advantage of them.
So, on the podcast, we always have the guest give maybe not a lecture, but a piece of advice to their former self when they were in maybe a tougher time. Could have been 20 years ago, 5 years ago, and a younger Jimmy, he didn't know what was going to happen. He didn't know what the future was going to hold. Maybe it was when you went from Philly to L.A. What would you tell yourself and maybe people in that situation?
Well, you know what? I like the guy he turned out to be. I mean, when I went out there, I was a kid out there, but I paid a lot of dues. I don't know that I would change any bit of it. Maybe
would you tell someone? Would you say keep on going,
buddy?
Yeah,
I would have. What I would have done is I probably would have steered clear of the, all the drugs, and because I think that was it was a different time period, but I would have stayed away from that maybe, and I probably would have got kind of auditioning sooner and acting sooner. I would try to, I kind of got a late start with that when it comes
down. But you're on a ridiculous amount of things, Jimmy.
Yeah,
compared to most comedians.
I got lost along the way, but the good news is we're way ahead of schedule.
Yeah, man.
So at some point, I'd be afraid to really change anything except that one thing. I mean, I've always been a pretty good human being and been nice and kind to people. I've always worked my tail off. I'm trying to never be a dick. I got 6 brothers. I got a great family, great parents. I wouldn't change any of it. In fact, I could have wrote it better if it happened myself. I'd rather have the success at this point in my career. And yeah.
So the struggle makes you much stronger.
The struggle just lets you know how bad you want it, and the struggle builds character, and the struggle teaches you life lessons, and life lessons that you can't. If life will bully you if you let it. I think about it being a kid. I was 18-year-old kid. I threw all my stuff in the back of my car. I drove across country. I started working at the Comedy Store. I worked my way up on my bootstraps. I put my nose to the grindstone. had a little bit of fun along the way. You know, did a lot of work along the way. It took me a little longer to
Can I
get here.
ask you how you came to that decision? I mean, that's such a ballsy move.
I knew what I wanted to
Philly, too,
yeah, I knew what I wanted to do. I just knew what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a comedian. I wanted to be somebody who made his living doing that. And you know, it's funny because I don't even know that was like, you know, it was like that the comedy boom had just started happening like in the early 80s, and you're going, I got to be here at ground zero, and I thought it was ground zero. And, you know, I mean, I'm hanging out with Richard Belzer. I mean, just Franklin Ajayi. I mean, you get to see Tim Thomerson and Robin Williams and Sam Kinison, and, I mean, Arsenio Hall and Andrew Dice Clay. I mean, you know, a lot of people, Yakov Smirnoff, that were there at the time. And it was just such a cool thing to be a part of. But it was great, man. I studied it. I did study it like a science. And I figured, how could I get and it's influenced me. It's influenced me, my style. My style is kind of an older style.
Yeah.
You know, but I do work in a comedic short story form. I try to make as many punchlines as I can in the bit. But, you know, it's really kind of the way you're saying it that makes it funny. But,
Do you feel like it's a science or it's an art at this point? Or
a little bit of both. You know, a little bit of both. I mean, there's so many variables thrown into this equation. From the time, like, there's so many you know, you're walking up to the stage, and the audience is looking at you. Half of them are already making up their mind about you.
Yes.
So how do you walk from the side of the stage to the microphone? How do you take the microphone out? What are you wearing? Does that convey what you're trying to say before you say it? I mean, you know, so it is, there's a lot to it besides just that, but I mean, I think you just have to worry about being funny, at first being funny, and then kind of presenting your ideas in a very well-educated way. I mean, I didn't go to college, but I did go to the Comedy Store, so for me, it's always about wording and about making making your point intelligently, and also trying to get as many laughs as you can out of it, you know?
yeah, you could tell. You could just tell you've got so many different.
I'm a pro, man. It took me a long time to learn how to be a pro. I mean, I was always funny, but it took me a long time to learn how to be a pro. And I was working with guys like Bobby Slayton and, you know, some other guys that, you know, kind of hit me to stuff. Because it's a really tough way to make a living, man. It really is. And so my heart goes out to anybody, especially like younger comics coming up. I always try to help them. If I can throw an email out and go, hey, this guy.
What are they going to do? Like there's so many young comics running into this thing head first. Do you usually tell them, listen, don't do it, and then the guys do stick around, or do you encourage them?
No, man. Look, they'll find their way, or they won't. It's just the thing, you know. You really gotta jump into the pool if you want to learn how to swim, and then you gotta figure out what you want to say, and you know, it's going to take. I don't think people realize how long it's going to take for them to get to a level. I mean, it takes. Some people are lucky. Some people fall off a bus, wind up on a sitcom. Next thing, you know, some people have to work 20 years. And they get a break, and they start doing, you know.
Well, do you think you're going to keep on pushing? Well, I look at comics as philosophers, modern-day philosopher to me.
Well, it's kind of like that, yeah. It really does have an element of that. I would like to continue to be relevant, continue to writing, continue performing, continue to do my acting, except now if I have an opportunity, I can do it on a bigger level. But I'd love to play a cop. I'd love to play a detective, like a homicide detective that just had a freak sense of humor. You know, just like you know how. The dude from Law and Order, Jerry Orbach.
Yes.
So that guy had to throw away a different line, like, yeah, that'll be, you know what I mean? But you could be that kind of cop character.
Yeah, you got a bunch of good shorts I watch. There's a really good short where you're maybe lawyers trying to come up with a new commercial.
Oh, yeah.
If you haven't gone to YouTube, and you're probably just organizing it now, but some of the videos out there, and I don't know if that's a video that was licensed.
I did that for the tape. I think we got part of it, and I just thought that was an interesting idea, a fun thing to do. Well, I think you learn more by being on a film set and being on a film set with no pressure. So if these guys were willing to kind of set up and shoot, and then you can work on some technique, and you can work on getting really comfortable in front of a camera. I mean, it's weird. Like last night on when's this going to air?
Probably Saturday or Sunday.
Yeah, because last night, I got voted off. We're doing a sketch thing, and I'm watching it going, I don't think I did a bad job on the sketch thing. I mean, we had cue card problems. Like NBC, a company like NBC doesn't know how to find somebody that flips cue cards. I think it was
Don't you think they do that on, I mean, I don't want to say anything we shouldn't say as far as the show. Do you think they have somebody they want, though?
I think it's a casting situation anyway. I think they're looking at they're trying to find people that you can build a TV show around. Unfortunately, some people fall out of that category. But yeah, they're looking. I mean, they're looking. I mean, they could be looking at me for all I know. I mean, they would be glad I'm out. Hey, get these off the show. Right, we got a great idea for them. Let's put them in this show.
Yeah,
I mean, you never know.
Let's get you on a lot of. There's so many when they let you be free. I think that's going to be? I really want to see you go to like.
Well, but now we're doing the online competition. People can go to comic comeback
Yes.
hashtag comic comeback Jimmy. People can go there if you want to get on Twitter this week and just like put comic comeback Jimmy hashtag comic comeback Jimmy, and that all counts as a vote. But you can go on NBC's website and vote. And if people would help me out, that would be great. Because I'd love to get back in the finale. I have a great.
So that can happen.
Yeah, that can happen. You can get back in the finale. I don't know about winning it, but you could definitely get the exposure again. So.
Well, let's make that happen.
People, all you kids with your new math and your weird technology, if you could go on that Twitter thing and do a couple tweets for me, for Uncle Jimmy, it would help me out.
Maybe the international audience. You've been to Asia, right?
Yeah, I've been to Asia. I've been to Shanghai. I was in Nanjing, Hangzhou, Suzhou, Wuxi. I was in Beijing. I was over in Singapore. I went to Macau. I know, it's crazy, right? I'm an American comedian touring over there.
So what do they say? Is it Chinese audience?
I just do my act in Mandarin.
Do you think there's a copycat out there doing your act in Chinese?
The Chinese will steal anything. But they're all Americans. They're all like expats. They're all expats. Like communities are 25,000 expats, and they're over there teaching English to the Chinese, and they're Australians and Canadians, English people, and Scottish people, and Americans, and even South Africans, and they don't speak the language. But there's nothing for them to do. So they're over there teaching English, and they're kind of just stuck over there. So
anything shock you over in the China?
Yeah, a lot of crazy things. Walking down the street, this lady stops in front of you, pulls up her skirt, and just poops on the sidewalk.
Yeah.
Shanghai, got me again, Shanghai. Got me again, Shanghai. Thank you, Shanghai. A lot of different stuff. Just hold the baby while you're just shitting right in the trash can. Just hold them up right there. There we go. Just checking for a wind, or hanging the kid off. I think it's gonna get. That's like a 4-turn wind.
So this is kind of a weird segue, but we always talk about things on the podcast about why are we here? What is life? Jimmy, do you ever think about that?
Man, I think everybody's got to figure that out for themselves. I think that's your deal, man. You got to figure out what it is that feeds your soul. I think you got to figure out what brings you joy in life. I think life is too short, for hatred or jealousy or animosity. I mean, we're all just kind of connected on this planet. It's one giant human ecosphere. I think but there is real evil out there that people will just I think you just gotta. I think whatever you put out into the universe comes back to you tenfold. So if you want to find a best friend, be a best friend to somebody. If you want to be loved, then love people. I think that's the only thing I'm pretty sure of. That's the only thing I know for sure. I think is that that wheel of karma keeps spinning. That steel belted radial of karma keeps rolling around. So. I think if you have a chance to be kind to people, be kind. Life's too short to hate your relatives or fight with people. It's just stupid. And just try to find your passion. Yeah, I think that's it.
That was the best, I think, advice I've gotten. My father, we did one with him, and he just started talking about Fukushima, telling me how the 60-year-olds they got it the best. I really appreciate it.
Like my dad used to say. He used to say. Well, he wasn't much of a talker. The thing is, no, he used to say, "Listen, stupid." He always called me "listen." He said, "No," but that's it, man. I'm just enjoying this part of my journey. It's been a journey. It's been a 25-year journey, so it's just nice to kind of get a little second wind here. And
I don't want to keep on pushing you here, Jimmy, because they're setting up. But listen, One thing I want everybody to check out is Alive and Kicking. Still.
Yeah, you can go to Alive and Kicking's on iTunes.
Because you're going to love that. First off, the intro's hilarious.
Oh, the opening's
It's so
I produced that myself. We shot it with Billy Gardell and Joey Coco Diaz and Gary Valentine. Yeah, and Gary Valentine from A King of Queens. And me and Gary are buddies. And Gary did it at the last minute because somebody I had dropped out. So Gary stepped in, and Gary kind of stole it. Yeah, that whole thing was improvised. And but it worked for what we were doing, and I think it's a nice intro into my set that you meet all my lunatic friends before you actually meet me. And then at the end, I come out of the casket like David Blaine. Come on, David Blaine does it. Everybody goes nuts, but And I thought it was pretty cool.
No, that's really, really hilarious. It surprised me how it kept going up levels and level of funny just for the intro. So
yeah, it was good. I thought it was a nice little piece to accompany it, and And we produced it all ourselves. We shot it on Super 16. I shot those. I shot the performance on 7 cameras. We digitally downloaded it. You know, that's where I really taught myself how to edit.
Oh,
we edited it. We brought like a 7-camera shoot. Yeah, Final Cut. I got a big editing facility in my house. I mean, I can't fake like that was so much footage. I was like, what am I gonna do? It's gonna cost me about 10 grand to pay for editing. Why don't I just buy the system for 3 grand? Learn how to use the editing software, and then I'm still like 8 grand ahead. And I had a buddy of mine help me out and put the polishing touches on it. So yeah, it's all good. So they get to pick that out. They can listen to my podcast, Jimmy Shubert, also the Jimmy Shubert Show. Jimmy Shubert is Jimmy Shubert and the Jimmy Shubert Show. Yeah, they give it a listen. I just think I like to promote my friends. I like to give breaks to comedians that are just coming up. You know, I just got Jonathan Kite from 2 Broke Girls, who's the cook. His will be coming out, and me and Ida. You want to tune in for some drama? Me and Ida Rodriguez from the show get on Thursday and have it like a little have at it. I feel bad for her, you know, because look, it's a tough spot to be in, only having 6 years in, you know. And then you got to deal with all these internet trolls and all this hatred that people are like spewing, and I just got like a.
Are you immune to that?
I don't give a shit what you fucking think. Your vote does not count in my election, motherfucker. I got more class and dignity in my little fucking finger than you do in your whole fucking body. They're down in the fucking parents' garage, living there rent-free, surfing the neighbors with wireless, and I'm beating off and eating Cheetos. And you fucking take a fucking minute out to fucking, and I really didn't think that other guy, you know, I mean, it's the Yelp culture we live in. It's like, fuck, all you need now to be a food critic is fucking fingers. You know, you can jump on the fucking website and go after, your local sandwich franchise like Attila Hunt with a keyboard before they forgot your side of pickle, you fucker. I mean, really? You ever been out eating and said, this is so fucking great, I can't wait to Yelp it. Nobody thinks like that. It's only douchebags. And I don't need to know what the local hipster idiot with the Don Quixote beard thinks about the speed of service at the fucking local coffee bean. Knock it off, you fucking assholes. I mean, look, I've had bad service. We've all had bad service, right? But you're dealing with fucking human beings. And sometimes people have a bad day. They're not animatronic fucking bears, you fucking twat. I have to tell you, I had to send the waitress back 7 times because I didn't like the shape of my lemon wedge. And even though she seemed like she was happy, she could tell her I was a little miffed. I'm going, yeah, she's a little miffed because dealing with fucking idiots and the lemon wedges for fucking 8-hour shifts 6 nights a week makes a single mom, a fucking 2, a little less happy than Pippi Longstocking, you fucking asshole. So, I can rotate.
I really, really appreciate
man,
this.
Thanks for
that was
setting up.
fantastic.
Yeah. So this is dropping Sunday. You tweet me in it and put all the social media links.
We'll believe it. How many tweets we need to hit, you think, to make that happen?
I don't know, man. I'm going against Alan Mitron. He graduated Yale. I think he's some kind of weird computer science fucking nerd. He's going to reroute all my votes. And they're going to go for a lot.
Now,
He's like scared me a little bit because he called me. He sent me a direct message, which, by the way, was very classy. Alan Mitra. I got to meet him. You know, it's a funny thing. You get to meet a couple people. He's starting out, but he's a real sweet kid. But he just reached out and said, hey, regardless of what happens, man, I was just really honored to be in, even competing with you and stuff. I thought it was kind of cool.
Yeah,
I think there's more good. The good thing I like about this year, I thought there was more goodwill.
Definitely.
In the last Comic Standing show than in years past. I thought they did a classy job. I thought it came across like classy. I thought it was, because
I would say all the guys, though, even outside it, always give you the most props. So,
well,
Stevens, Bobby Lee, they always talk about you in great
Well,
grace.
they're good guys, man. I always appreciate the support, because those guys, like, I remember Bobby Lee and stuff like that, and those guys, they were like, I was kind of standing, these guys were coming up and stuff, and Bobby said, I remember the story they told me, but he hadn't eaten in like 3 days.
Yeah.
And he said, I fucking haven't eaten. I go, well, dude, let's go right fucking now. I fucking bought him fucking lunch. I said, you want something to go? What do you? But he's always never forgotten that. But I just try to help out, man. I try to be a good ambassador to the art form. That's what I try to do.
I really appreciate it. You're stepping up.
Yeah, stepping up.
Tells me I got to go to China. I can't.
Where do you get camera ladies like this?
Just on YouTube.
Just on YouTube?
Yeah, just type in
hot camera.
Russian twerking.
Russian twerking, and that's how you found it. She used to do some Russian twerking, and now she's the hot camera operator.
Yeah.
Nice. That's awesome.